It's Cindy's choice to be brave and make a difference. Cindy here, and thank you. Thank you for being here. And I am really excited because Desmond Thornton is here as my guest today, and that is Desmond Thornton of Thornton Home Inspections. Hello, Desmond.
Hello, hello. It's been a long time, I'll tell you.
It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
This has been great. This is, I'm so glad, because I've touched base with you a couple times. I need to get you by. We need to catch up. And I'm like, Desmond, if we're going to catch up, come on by. Let's just catch up on a podcast because, you know, we've had an interesting journey together.
Yeah, we have.
And, you know, I had Dr. Pop on recently.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a lot of, and we're in the Chattanooga, North Georgia local market here. And of course, I can't say that without saying Desmond Thornton, best of the best, North Georgia, and also Chattanooga. You've been nominated in Chattanooga as well,
North Georgia.
You've been nominated so much, I forget like where all the
the last 4 years for sure. Yeah. So, and I think they got their parade for that for, you know, of course, COVID stuff. So they have a parade going on for the winners of North Georgia, and I actually won this year too. So.
Oh, man, no surprise. No, and that's what I love here, too, is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're just right here on the Georgia line.
Yep.
And I love being like involved in the North Georgia area and as well as the Chattanooga area, which is both are booming, actually.
Both are booming. No, I mean, seriously booming.
Yeah, no, I've been getting more involved with the Catoosa County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm like, wow, I bet it makes sense. I mean, look, we're right here at Exit 1. If you're not familiar, it's the main highway, like coming up from Georgia. Chattanooga is right there at the gateway, but then right before you get there is Catoosa County.
Yeah.
So it's just right in line with all the major growth in this area. But you know what I kind of wanted to. I'm getting to share kind of the story of Cindy's Choice a lot.
Okay.
And you're such a key part of that story.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, you are for real because, you know, I was out there, this homeless girl, barely not homeless. I'm running, this is before you met me, I'm running all over town and this is what I'm going to do. And this is what, you know, this big vision, you know, and I just can't imagine now when I think back, like what people were thinking. But, you know, before long, you know, I meet this wonderful person, Josh Patton, that owns Chicken Salad Chick, and he sees my vision, and because of collaboration and, you know, supporting small businesses while we serve the community, and he was growing, and he's like, I want to do it. Let's do it. And he was like too busy to be involved in the community anymore. So I had a client, and I got to start Cindy's Choice, and like he was my only client for like a whole year.
Wow.
But that's okay. You know, it's like when you're bootstrapping from homelessness.
Yeah.
You know, Chicken Salad Chick, first client, that's pretty good. So, but no, it's crazy because then, you know, radio got introduced to me, and I'm like recognizing, oh, wow, what an incredible platform for branding and contributing to the community and helping people to get to know who you really are.
Right.
And so then I thought, okay, I can't do my full vision for Cindy's Choice, but I can like keep adding radio shows and get radio sponsors and help, you know, do for them what I'm to help people know who they are.
Right.
Because we were talking about, we weren't getting on selling product. We were having conversations and talking about who people are and still spotlighting nonprofits. Well, I still have the vision for Cindy's Choice and all the full services that I want to provide and getting enough businesses on board to where we can, you know, constantly contribute back to the community while we expand the platform. And, you know, you were, I mean, I don't even know if I've ever expressed to the degree of how significant you were in the development, because how instantly when I shared my vision with you.
Oh, yeah. I remember that night.
Because all of a sudden, too, and I was already confident because you'd come to me from a trusted source introduction.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I was already sold, and he's like, no, because he doesn't just throw anybody my way.
Right.
You know, I know he gets it. But, you know, when you kind of grasp it, and then when you shared, I thought, oh my goodness, this guy's smart.
Yeah.
I said, no wonder he's successful, because I remember saying, like, doing what, like what I'm doing. Like you were kind of already doing it on your own, but you were recognizing that,
it's to that point where I need to separate those two.
Exactly. So, and it just made it all the better but quite honestly too, boy, timing, I needed somebody else to get it because when you have a vision and, I was like, people are going to get confused because these are show sponsors, they're not Cindy's Choice.
Yeah, exactly.
These are Cindy's Choice. And it's like, so I had to, make a big, bold step after that because when you came on board as a full-fledged Cindy's Choice, I had 2 Cindy's Choice. So when the other contracts ends of sponsorship, I had to let go of that. And that was like a big step of faith in really building the brand for Cindy's Choice. But even if I back up, Dr. Pop was the same thing. I was barely on radio when he invested, and then I let go of the small radio show, and a lot because he'd had that faith and invested, gave me that courage to take on some overhead with the bigger radio show. Right. So there were these key people that kind of believed and saw it at the right time. Yeah, helped me take another bigger, braver step. Yeah, and I love that about you, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about you today because. How long now? Because we used to have these conversations all the time,
right? Every week, show, yeah.
But now I've kind of lost track. How long now have you been in business?
We've been in business. Actually, we just turned 8 years old, February 3rd. Yeah,
I was oh, wait a minute, 7, 8,
yeah,
8. Wow, and you started with you.
yeah,
and. We've often talked about this and we both love talking about it because before COVID, statistics are so hard for businesses. Everybody probably gets tired of me saying that before COVID, Forbes, Entrepreneur, Bloomberg, all those have similar statistics for businesses. 85% do not succeed over 5 years. And people just they're like, what? Because
I was the same way. I was like, what? I had no clue.
And they don't. And then, you would hear me share a lot how 40% are profitable, 30% break even, 30% are losing money. And then even with that 40% that are profitable, they're not measuring how much debt or whatever else is going on there. It's just really, really tough to succeed as a small business owner. And now COVID.
COVID.
Yeah. So it's just and so, that's what I love, setting these examples and having successful business owners share their stories, because especially if you bootstrapped something.
Yeah.
And it's not like you came from a home inspector family.
No, God, listen, I didn't even know what
karate family.
Yeah, I had no clue what home inspection was until I had one done when I bought my house.
Right.
So I had no prior knowledge. I barely picked up a hammer. I had no clue. So getting into this, industry, for me, it was like a family. Growing up in martial arts for my whole life, basically, those people developed into being my family, outside of my immediate family. So when I got into this industry, I was gun ho of, having that type of relationship with the people in the industry and the vendors and the whole nine. And, to the point, now one of my best friends in Rhode Island just won the best of the best for the nation. He won, I think it was $10,000, and he won a trip to, I want to say Ireland. I think that's where
nice.
He's a paid full for his whole entire family, up to 8 people. So, just knowing something like that, it makes me feel good. I wouldn't have won, but it just makes me feel good that I know somebody that, took their family from not having something to, into this industry and being able to support their families and others.
And that's a lot, because a lot of my mission with this, I'm passionate about self-sufficiency because of the health challenges and challenges I had in life. I'm like, getting to a place of self-sufficiency has been really difficult, and I am not the only one by far. So I'm very passionate about, helping people in that way. And, it is driven by truly wanting to support small businesses while we,
Right.
serve the community.
Right.
But that it wasn't long. Like we were already like, oh, you saw the value, and we started like you were a regular co-host on the radio show, and
Right.
even covered for me when
Right. That was
when I
crazy
gone,
right
and
there, boy.
I was out there, networking in the community and kind of representing us all and so forth. But like, it wasn't long we were on there, and you were like, wait a minute, Cindy, now I really get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this helps me so much, because it's really hard, because it's like, you've been through it. You'd built something from just you.
Yep.
And this was a little different. I'd had like a construction company before, and, I could go get people to hire me for construction, but doing something really new and really different, if not for visionaries like you, it just wouldn't. And the people that kind of saw it were like corporations and things. I'm like, you're not my client. It doesn't help. That doesn't help.
Right.
And but still, it did inspire me. But kind of what I was getting to this too with is, because of that visionary perspective that you have, it's like to build like you're building. It's for a small business, because how do you build? You keep duplicating yourself, right?
Yep.
But then at some point, it's like like you said, you can't do it.
Can't do it all. Can't do
Anymore.
it all. You have
Exactly.
to delegate. You just have to.
And I can't imagine, because you were like growing pretty fast last that we connected.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious. I know you're spreading out through Georgia.
Yeah, we've, of course, do Georgia and Tennessee. Then we branched out last year into Alabama, North Alabama, I guess Northeast Alabama. So we cover Fort Payne, Stevenson, Alabama. We cover Bridgeport, I think Valley Head, all the areas on basically 59 going south.
Yeah.
So we cover all those areas also, along with Hamilton County, Marion County, Bradley, Meigs, Ray, all the southeastern area of Tennessee, and then all of North Georgia, all the way down to Calhoun, Georgia. So
That's amazing. So how many actual home inspectors?
we have 3 currently, but we're in the process of hiring 2 more.
Amazing. Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, yeah. and that's a late part. I wanted them back in October, and I couldn't get them fast enough. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
But another thing too that like makes you a Cindy's choice is, I love the fact that, because like people were a little mystified by what I'm doing. Like, why is she going? Because, radio's expensive.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is she investing in radio? Why didn't she do, these are vodcasts, by the way. I'm just learning
Podcasts, okay.
I'm learning this
Yeah.
podcast. Like, why didn't she do a podcast or a vodcast or something like that? And, you've got to invest if you want people to invest in you.
Right.
And but you set a good example of that, because of you investing in continued education. And I was like, oh, he gives me something to like, that's a Cindy's choice, because like, like it seems like twice a year you're out there going to these national conventions and learning more. And, it's like, what else you need to learn about home inspection? I would think a lot of people would, but no. And you come back with that fresh passion and energy and excitement about what else you learned. And that's something that I love demonstrating to other business owners. You've got to keep educating yourself, and you've got to keep investing.
Yeah.
And you've got to not just invest to grow, but you've got to set that example, not just set the example for your employees, but it's also kind of demonstrate to them, like, so they keep doing that as
it's
well.
It's a standard that you set, for me to, go around the country and meet new people and learn new things and bring it back to our community to make our community better. That's really the end all goal. When we inspect homes, we want to inspect homes like our grandmother's going to be living there. So if that's the case, we got to be the top notch of the top notch. So, and that's why I go to all these conventions and do online education and just see things through a different perspective, and see it through a buyer's or a seller's, perspective, to where they know what they're getting into, and they know what their condition of their home is and how to improve it, or, make the right decision for their family moving forward.
Exactly. And again, that's like the real estate industry in itself is just, it's such a personal relationship for residential. you really do have to care. And that's what I try to kind of help people too, like with your realtor, your home inspector. That's one of the biggest investment vast majority of people ever make. And it's such a personal thing, especially when you're on the selling end of, some place where you raise your children or something like that. And the horror stories, because, I have a construction background and so forth like that, of, people that have purchased homes and had rude surprises. That's just the worst, to make that kind of investment and feel, taken advantage of that way. So the trust is so many industries, but in that particular one, the trust is so important. So, I have to be so careful who I'm endorsing in that situation. But you just said it so authentically, so eloquently, that it is about caring. If you're really in those homes and you're treating that like that's where your grandmother's going to live, and then you're attracting more people who care the same way you do, and that involves more than training, because that you said a key word, Desmond, standard. And that's a word that I've been talking about a lot lately, because it's I think a lot of people they struggle with standards because they're feeling like that's a judgment kind of thing, and not understanding, no, we always need to be working to raise our standards and, keep our standards and, make sure that the people around us are doing the same. And that's what Cindy's Choice is about. And you know me, I love everybody. I want to include everybody, but you've got to be selective.
Very much.
And it's hard because you don't want to leave people out. And that's a lot what I love about this is it's a choice. We're, we want to work together and we have a common goal, but then we get to get out and serve the community and include everyone in some form or another. But without people behind it that really do care and are integrity centric, that really are, it's not just caring about like, oh, we care, we want to give, but having that accountability.
Yes, that's the second part of that. Because like you said, in Cindy's Choice, when you have sponsors that give to certain things like the Olympics that we had. Oh my God, that was one of the funnest things I've ever done. But we'll
do that again.
Yeah, most definitely. Because 2020, whatever. But the way you approach me with your vision of Cindy's Choice, and then how you actually walked it out the whole time, being involved with Cindy's Choice, it just shows like you want to bring the community together. You want to include everybody, but then there's a standard that you set when it comes to Cindy's Choice. You have certain criteria to meet that standard to become a Cindy's Choice. Exactly.
And that's why, kind of like when I started the conversation about those stages of growth, when you're starting something from homelessness, it's less than no capital. And that's that goes deeper than grassroots. And when people are wanting to give you money and be a part of your platform, and you're having to let that go or kind of avoid that one because maybe they're not the quite
pain point.
I'm like, okay, I see why I needed to go through what I needed to go through to be able to understand that, no, you've got to hold that standard or it's all for nothing.
Yep.
It's at a time when small businesses need it more than ever. It's like we need that support. And I like someone you're as successful as you are, 8 years in business, and people would probably tend to look at you and think, he's okay. He's got it. He's on his own. Yeah. But oh my goodness, when you can, be with other people that identify with your specific challenges and the specific struggles that you have and how much you really do want to be giving. I know your heart. I know your family. Right. But the responsibility, especially as you grow, when you're running a business, because you have more, there's more employees than just your inspectors. And they've got families. And, that responsibility.
That's what drives me. It's the funniest thing. That's what drives me the most, because, I do want to I want to help people. I do want to take care of my family. But when I get to a certain level in my business, I do want to give back. And that's the best way right off the bat is to, have employees that you care about, that you can help, that you can guide. And even if, say, for instance, they decide that they want to do their own thing, like on their own business, the fact that you helped them get to that that point is a whole nother level.
It's huge. It's huge. And that's a lot why I like advocating for small businesses, because I think it's harder than ever. There is an expectation of that give back more than ever. And I love being that voice that says, hey, they're, business owners, they're showing their love in a different way sometimes. They're not joiners. They don't have time to go be directly involved. But when they're growing their business and making sure that that employee stays busy so they can take care of their family and creating a bigger family within that's huge. That is so huge. And people that haven't had that responsibility, they're not going to understand that. And that's perfectly, why would they? They haven't, that, because I'm just, I understood it, Desmond.
Right.
But now that I'm actually adding people, I'm like, whoa, I see why I didn't get this far before. That's terrifying. That is terrifying. And I had to get to a place of understanding that, it's not like, oh, I'll take the risk. Oh, I'll do this. No, I can't make it about me. This is an us thing. And, we got to get there together. And I couldn't take the pressure before. When I got to that point of growth, I can't be responsible for somebody else. If I can't, I just could not live with myself if I mess this up. And I can mess it up for me, but I don't want to take that. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. I can so tell why, because I've started a lot of things. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but when I got to that place of growth, that's when I got too scared to move forward because I couldn't handle that responsibility of feeling, of the weight of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I totally get that.
But it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good, and I look at certain things and I feel like, being the person that I am and the person I want to be, for one, being able to help others is always number one. And it's funny, I got into this industry not knowing that that's what this is going to end up being, is helping families get into their dream home or, their next step home. I didn't know that. And I used to do medical sales, and that was one of the things that I loved about that is I was helping the elderly and the senior citizen, take care of a ailment that they could not resolve without my help. And that's what I loved about it. And then, of course, government changed, things changed. So that position wasn't available to me to make a living with. And, coming into the home inspection industry and being able to do that. And then, like I think said before, helping other families, it does my heart good.
Oh, I know. And it is. And I love that. It's a, I sit here, it's just kind of surreal for me because like I said, you were there in key stages. And now that it's truly evolving into what it's meant to be, I keep telling people I've got this destitute to destiny story. I'm like, this is it. I'm stepping into my destiny now. And it's pretty incredible. And I'm just super pleased and honored that, I get to associate with people like you and, call you my friend.
I appreciate that.
And have your support and
always
and endorse you always because that's Cindy's choice.
Yep.
But we're going to have to continue. We're going to have maybe a part 2, 3 with Desmond. But for right now, we're going to wrap up here with Desmond Thornton of Thornton Home Inspections. But keep tuning in to Cindy's Choice. Thank you, Desmond.
Thank you.